So can everyone see that?
Yeah,
brilliant. Thank you, Liz. Okay, so let me just go bigger. Right, now I have to say I've got quite a lot of slides. I was going through it this morning. I thought, oh my God. Right, so yeah, go try and go a bit quick in a calm way.
Yeah, don't worry.
So welcome everyone to Converting Customers. So you might be here today because you want to get some insights on how to convert clients more easily and effectively. You might feel you are missing something in your approach to attracting and converting clients. You might feel that you've got some gaps and you're just looking to plug them up. And I really hope that this presentation gives you some food for thought. Now, I have to admit, this is a huge, huge subject. I mean, attracting customers and converting them, it's, I have a sales program which is 6 weeks long, which I'm just going to be extending. There is so much to it, and that's only one part of it. There's a lot of stuff outside of it as well. So what I'm going to try and do today is to sort of like give you an overview and then deep dive into some bits. So just to introduce myself, I'm Carole Bernadette Bozkurt. My company is called the Blueprint Group Practice. I'm a sales and marketing strategist and business mentor. I started the Blueprint Group Practice in 2011. We will officially be 10 on the 2nd of June. I've got 20 plus years. I've got a lot more than just 20 plus years marketing and sales experience. I say that to fool myself that I'm still young. I love strategy and planning. I absolutely love working with my clients around that. I help you to create those go-to-market plans. And as I just mentioned a bit earlier, it's then about helping people to sell and help my clients to have conversations that convert. And I have an online sales program, which is specifically really aimed at coaches and consultants. My background, my previous lives, I worked for a company called it's now called Willis Towers Watson. They're the largest global actuarial consultancy in the world, and I headed up marketing for Europe for the financial division. They had 3 divisions, so it was a pretty huge job, did an awful lot of travel. Before that, I worked for a company called GHN, and we allowed Penna to acquire. So it's sort of like a backward acquisition. We allowed Penna to acquire us, and then we went onto the board and ran it. We coached over 50% of the FTSE 100 at board level. I was their first marketing manager that they employed, and they insisted that I went through all the training the coaches went through. We all had to have counselling, and twice a year we got the top psychiatrists to come in and take us through training. That was amazing. It was pretty scary as well. I was always scared. I don't know about anyone else. And before that, I worked for a company called SoftLab, which was the largest software house in Europe. When I joined, BMW owned a bit of it, and eventually BMW took over it. SoftLab created the first integrated development environment in the history of computing. We now call that Windows. We were the first people to be able to do Windows and go from one program to another without having to shut everything down. A very distant future when you think about that, as that we had to close programs down and then open them up. I have an MA in marketing, and my dissertation, which was 80,000 words long, which is the same for a dissertation for a doctorate, was in branding, and I'm also chartered status for marketing. So where do we start? This is what we're going to look at. And as I said, this is going to be a little bit of a whistle stop tour. If you have any questions, please ask them at the end. And if we don't get time, then just please send me a note. It's best not to send an email, because often my emails go into spam, and I'm just really bad at looking at spam. But if you send it to me on Facebook, I'm really happy to help you with any questions that you might have. So converting customers, it's not just all about the selling bit. There's other stuff that you can do that makes the sale so much easier. So we look at client relationships. We look at your client avatar and niche, and we're going to look at that in a really tiny way. I've got one slide on it. We get your real estate ready. We look at client funnels, which I did talk about in my last presentation last month, And I'm going to recap that for people who weren't here. And for people that were here, I hope that you can just pick up some additional information. And then we're going to look at conversations that convert. So to make it easy, what you want to do is, for your clients, is they need to be able to find you. Make it easy for your clients to find you. Make it easy for them to understand what you are about. Don't make them work for it. If your clients don't know you exist, then they can't decide to work with you, and they will move on to somebody else, one of your competitors. You've got to remember that your client makes these decisions in the cloud. We often think that clients are making those decisions face to face. Even if you are charging a premium fee, a high-end fee, your client is probably going to do some research in the cloud first. Your client is probably going to have a look at what is around, what's available, and then they'll take that step to start having those one-to-one conversations. But they're making those decisions in the cloud. So you've got to make sure that you're in the cloud so that you are part of their agenda. Because if you're not, then they're just simply not going to be coming to you. And when they speak to you, what they're doing is they're deciding if the fit is right, because they've already made that decision, as I said, in the cloud. And even if it's something like for a multi-level marketing product, you know, I use Arbonne. And I love that. I really love the stuff that Arbonne do. And I buy from my clients. But I've brought from different people before. If a client comes into my realm who does Arbonne, then I buy from them directly. But otherwise, what I'm doing is I'm looking at what knowledge and information does one Arbonne person have over another? How much value are they giving? What's their personality like? So I'm making those decisions, I'm making them in the cloud. And when we want to make this easy, this really does apply for every service and product. So although I work with coaches and consultants, and a lot of what I talk about, and especially here today, is aimed at those people offering a service, you can still take some of this and apply it to a product. So client relationships. Everything starts and ends with relationships. They are so, so important. When I saw that blank screen came up, my heart sank. So a truth bomb. Nurture relationships over a period of time. If you do this properly, your clients will become lifetime clients, and they will buy from you again and again and again. They recommend you, and they become your unpaid sales force, which is brilliant. Let's wait for the words to come up. But a lot of the time, business owners are only interested in the sale. They're only interested in looking at the person who's right in front of them about to buy. They forget, and once that deal has been done, that sale has been done, they forget to nurture the client. So they forget about the clients who've bought from them before. So ask yourself some very simple questions here. How many people have purchased from you in the last 12 months? And when was the last time you spoke to them? Because that's going to give you a really good indication as to how well you're nurturing. Now, sometimes if you're selling something small, you might be selling it to hundreds of people, and therefore having a conversation with them isn't practical or doable. But you can do other things like, and Debbie does this very well, Debbie Gilbert. What Debbie does is she will write a social media post about the person, and she promotes them and she tags them in. And that's her way of having that one-to-one interaction and connection with them. So when was the last time you spoke to people who have bought your services or bought your products? And the people who were about to buy from you but didn't, when was the last time you spoke to them? I'm just going to repeat this again because it's really important. So often all we do is look at the person in front of us who is about to buy, and we forget about the people who came to us and didn't buy, and the people who've bought and have gone before. They might never buy from you again, but they can always recommend you. We know that some clients that you meet, you'll have a single conversation with them and they'll buy from you immediately. And others, you will have a conversation with them every single time you meet them and they will never buy from you. But these are at opposite ends of the pole. What we've got to do is say, okay, the majority of people we need to nurture. We need to create a relationship with them. And those are the people that are going to buy. Those are the people that are going to buy again and again and recommend us and refer us. So how do you nurture your relationship with your clients? Well, relationships are built on mutual trust. Deliver a stellar customer experience and make sure it touches on all aspects of your delivery. I remember last time when we were talking, there was a lady here who does pet, like grooming and looking after pets. And we were talking about how she can just expand that experience. So when the dog leaves or the cat leaves, they get in the post a little gift, and it's addressed to the dog, not the owner. And in it, there's a couple of little treats, and there's like what I would call a little love note saying how much they loved having them and how exciting it was for them to be here. And all those little touches that cost a little bit of money, that cost a little bit of time, but it adds to the experience. So what you want to do is you want to shift your focus to client retention, because we know that it takes at least 5 times the amount of effort to acquire a new client. So what you've got to make sure is that the people who you have already bought from are buying from you again and again and again. If your prospect or your client who's purchased before has to put too much effort into the client interaction, they will walk away feeling dissatisfied. If they've got to do all the work and pay for it, they're not going to do it. So think about the common problems you can solve for your client without them having to continually invest their pounds, dollars, and pence into it. You know, do some really nice things like bringing your clients together, run an in-person coffee morning, send some free samples, maybe do a group coaching call. That's going to help your clients. If you know your clients do X, bring them together to help them do that thing, you know, to give them some insight. Yes, we are talking about giving some of your valuable stuff away for free. That's your time, you know, and it's also your insights and your knowledge. But you are going to stand head and shoulders above your competition. People are going to remember for how you treat them and how you look after them. Sorry, I just got some hair in my face. That always happens. Now, client avatar and niching. We've just got one slide on this, but I had to mention it. So if you want to know how to stand out from the crowd, you need to have a niche. You need to be able to niche down and really understand your client, because your marketing will become more focused and will speak more clearly to your clients. Now, in this room, we've probably all, unless you're just a very new business, the probability is that you've all had an opportunity to create a client avatar. And a lot of the time we talk about client avatars as, you know, well, my client avatar, her name is Jane and she's 45 and she's got 3 children and she's got, you know, she works part-time and, you know, she's got a very busy life ferrying her children around for social reasons. And we talk about those type of things. What you need to say to yourself is, how is my client thinking? What is my client thinking about? How are they feeling? So when they get up at, say, 6 o'clock in the morning, how are they feeling? What are they thinking to themselves? What's the first thing that's on their mind? You know, at 7 o'clock in the morning, what are they thinking and feeling? At 10 o'clock, at 12 noon, and so on throughout the day. And if you say to yourself, do you know what? I don't know what they're thinking or feeling, then actually you haven't got under the skin of your client, your ideal client. And there's a missing piece there that you need to plug that gap up. and it will serve you well when you really understand, because when you understand what's going on in their world, then you can bring it into your marketing. So like, for example, a lot of my clients, they have children who are either doing GCSEs or doing A levels or choosing their university places. Parents are worried about how they're going to do, how they're going to cope in their exams with the pressure. Are they going to get into their first choice of university? Maybe they need some extra money in order to help them with some additional tutoring. When I understand that, I can talk about, when I'm selling my sales mastery course, I can talk about how, you know, when you can sell with ease and it's effective, you can get more money flowing into your bank account, which can help you to do the things you need to do with your family. That's how I can bring it in. That's how I can talk about it in a very respectful and subtle way that helps the client to think, oh yeah, I can do that. And it's because I understand what's keeping them awake at night. I understand what's priority on their mind. What are they thinking about? And then I pull that into my marketing. You can only do that when you know your clients incredibly well. Most people do the demographics, they don't do the thinking and the feeling piece. Get your real estate ready. So as you can see, there's a lot that you can do without even having a conversation to help you convert customers even better. So get your real estate ready. For the majority of us, that starts with our website. Now, when I first started in business, I did not have a website. I didn't have a website for a year, but I use social media. So you do need to have a presence. And if you haven't got a website, you've got to be on social media. So if you have got a website, make sure you've got case studies and testimonials on there. Make sure you know it's beautifully laid out, so it's engaging and the person landing on your website is having a good experience. No one wants to be the first to use a service or a product. So your job, well, one of the jobs of your website is to put your client's mind at ease. So show them who has gone before them. And of course, don't forget your SEO, which is really important. There has been, you know, if you write a sales page, there's been a change to the call to action buttons. So one of the things that I'll be talking a little bit as we go through this is, you know, the things that I said 10 years ago, like you just need to spend 10 minutes on a social media platform, do not apply today because things have changed. And sometimes what happens is you go to talking about something and then you realize that there's been a shift in the market, and the following day you've got to be talking about it in a different way. So there has been a shift in your call to action button. So people who've got memberships, or if you are selling an online program where people have got to go onto a sales page on your website, you want to change some of those call to action buttons. So instead of the join now, sign up now, they are being replaced with additional copy to make it easier for the conversion. So join now becomes, yes, I want to get access now. Always make yes the first word that you put on your button. So when you create a button like on your website, normally the button can go quite long and you can change the font size and all of that. You can either do that yourself or maybe you've got your designer to do it. But I would say yes, something like, yes, I'm excited to join. You know, and I'm putting some energy into it. Somebody is just about to pay me money. I'm really excited that they're joining. I want them to feel really excited as well. So choose those words that give really great energy, and that is naturally with your own tone of voice and your brand, but put the word yes in front of it. Lead magnets. Have several different premium lead magnets on your website. Now, a video series is really good. Video series have been around for years, and you saw the really big coaches like I can't think of the guy who does the launch formula, you know, and I had a coach as well who did it. I mean, they paid an awful lot of money, and there were these 4 videos, and they would be released, you know, once a week or once every so many days, and they would be training. You'd be learning from that, and that's all about giving the experience. But of course, your client gets to see you and they get to hear you. So make sure that you're putting your effort into your lead magnet, and make sure that when you create that lead magnet, that those sign-up forms are as simple as possible. Ideally, it should just be the email address. I always get people's first names as well. But if I want any more information, I'm going to ask them that after they've signed up. Get them to do that one simple job first, sign up. Then you can always get some more information from them. Check all your bios. Now, whether you have a website or not, and as I said, when I started out, I did not have a website. One, make sure you use the same photo on all your bios across your social media, because it makes it easier for your clients to recognize you. Consistency builds trust. So make sure you are going on there and sharing some of your valuable information. I'm going to talk about omnipresent a little bit later, but omnipresent is where you're across all the social media platforms. I mean, I'm even on TikTok. So if anybody, which I doubt, will find me on TikTok, at least they can say, oh, right, this is what she does. Let me now go and see her on Instagram, or let me go and check her out on Facebook or LinkedIn. So make sure that you're across all social media platforms. Make sure you get that your bio is the same. So you're saying the same message, because that gives consistency and that builds trust. Get a great photograph of yourself. Work with a photographer. You know, if you're just starting out, you might not have money in the bank. So take a really good photograph with your phone. The phones are brilliant, or get someone to do that for you. But then as soon as you've got the money, as soon as some clients are coming in and you've got some money, get your photographs done. If you've had your photograph for more than 2 years, you need to change it, because what happens is we keep using the same photograph. It becomes like wallpaper. Even if it's a fantastic photograph of you, just get it updated. And as I said, make sure your wording on your bio is consistent across all your platforms. Drive your customer to your funnel. Now, this is what I talked about last time. I'm not going to go into as much detail as I did before. I'm just going to touch on it. So those of you that weren't there, hopefully you will see that, understand what's going on. And for those of you that were there, it's just a little refresh. And hopefully a few little different things that I've thrown in as well. So minimize the number of steps. The fewer steps your prospect has to take to sign up for your lead magnet, or buy your offer, or read your blog, etc., the better. And I know that some of you sell products and you do this incredibly well. And what you'll do is you'll take out all the pain. So you'll wrap the product up and you'll put it into a lovely little pouch, and you go to the post box and you sell that. You send it, not sell it, you send it in the post so the person gets it. I mean, brilliant, brilliant way to make it so much easier for your clients. And this is just a little aside that I put here to remind myself. But if you have a lead magnet that is popular on your website, think about putting it on every page, or think about putting it on the pages that you know your clients coming into. So look at your analytics on your website. And if you don't know how to do that, then invest in working with somebody that can show you how to do it. So have a look at your analytics. Where are your clients coming in on? Have you got one of your best lead magnets on that page when they come in? You know, we talked about before having those premium lead magnets. You know, have you got a way that they can connect with you, maybe on social media, or there's a little button that they can press to say, if you want to have a call, press here, and then it takes them through to maybe a diary booking system like Calendly, so that they can book in some time. And if you want to know what a popular lead magnet looks like in terms of downloads, Ideally, it's 1,000. If 1,000 people have downloaded it, that's quite a high number. So anything I would say from like 200 and above to 1,000 is a premium lead magnet. The bigger you are, the more audience you've got, it would be nearer the 1,000 mark. If you're just starting out, or if you've been going for like maybe 12, 18 months, then you're looking around 200, or maybe if it's the first time you've done a lead magnet, then you understand that is quite popular. If you've created a lead magnet and only a few people have downloaded it, think about changing the title. So go to something, I use a co-scheduler analyzer, and that will help you to create a really good title. You want to get 70% and above, and change the title and see if that has a difference, makes a difference. So this is what I showed last time. And again, I'm just going to quickly go over this. So it's your sales funnel, which can also be called your buyer's journey or your marketing funnel. So we've got awareness, consideration, conversation, it's conversion, people. I did this last time, loyalty and referral. So your prospect is aware of the problem and trying to find the solution. That's the awareness piece. That's why you need to be out there in the market. Your prospect is considering the options. You want to make sure you're one of those that is being considered. Your prospect chooses who they want to work with and buys. That's the conversion, not conversation. Well, you are having a conversation probably with them, but that's the conversion piece. And your client is happy and buys from you again and again. That's loyalty. And then the next step they do is they start to become a referrer for you. Yes, they'll give you testimonials. Yes, they'll do a video testimonial or a case study for you, but they will also start recommending you to other people. And again, just to repeat this, because this is so important, you want to make an elegant close. And this is something that has changed. When you want people to buy from you online, it's all about giving the value and then helping them to take that next step. So I see a lot of people, and I've done this before, you write a post and at the end you say, and if you would like this product, if you would like this service, click the link in the comments to buy from me, or click here to buy from me, or DM me if you want to talk about working with me one-to-one, or, sign up to my program. And the thing is, when you ask people, does it work? Generally, the answer is no, it doesn't work. And it's because they know it's a sale. They know it's a big sale that's coming. So this isn't an elegant close. And what we need to do is create an elegant close. So you do that through your social media, through one, making sure that your posts are SEO. So again, if you're not sure what your SEO is, work with an expert to help you understand. I went on one of Helen Say's courses. It was brilliant. And I know she's a big fan of Mums Unlimited. I know she's not here today, and I'm sure there are other people within the group who do SEO as well. But work with somebody to find out what those key phrases and words are for you, so that when you write your posts, you can make sure that they're optimized to get you the best sort of like return on your investment. I do a lot on LinkedIn, and from Monday to today, to this morning before I came on, I've had over 30,000 views on my posts. That isn't, and today's not even over. So on Monday, I got over 15,000 views on it. Then the following day, about 3. Today, when I looked, I think it was nearer 9. Yesterday, it was over 5. I've had, and views are great. Doesn't that sound fantastic? 30,000 views just on 4 posts so far this week. But views don't actually mean a lot. It's a bit of a vanity metric. But I've had over 300 comments. That is people engaging. That's more, that's much more valuable, because people are getting to know you and they're commenting and you're having a conversation back with them. SEO is really important when you create your posts on social media. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but you do want to take an omnipresence approach to social media. So for example, if you're selling an online course or a book or a specific range of nutrition or styling, make sure that all your social media channels are promoting that offer. Change your banners. If you go and have a look at my banner in LinkedIn, no, don't go to LinkedIn. I haven't changed it there yet. But I didn't say it was perfect, everyone. Might know it, but I'm not always perfect. But if you go and look at my banner on Facebook, on my sort of like homepage where you meet me, it's promoting my pricing mastermind session that I'm running. So change your bios, change your banners, make sure it's all reflecting what you are doing. Make sure your content relates to the topic areas, of what you are selling. Sometimes people write posts that are completely unrelated. So like, for example, a lady I know at the weekend did a post in LinkedIn, a poll post, and she wanted to know what was your preference for eating breakfast. Was it bacon, sausage, egg, or something else? She got over 89,000 views. Right now, she runs a business. It's a family business. It's all around selling solid surfaces. They design the most fantastic kitchens, bathrooms, reception areas, all in vivid color, beautiful design. Did that post help her with her business? No. But what it did is it got her reach so much bigger than what she could have ever happened. She ever thought. She doesn't have 89,000 people she's connected with, but it reached that big. So that went viral. That is great for her because people interacted with her. People answered the poll. They start to find out about her. They will see her posts coming up in LinkedIn in their timeline because of that. So make sure your content does relate to your topic, but every so often you can do something different, which shows your personality, which is going to step outside of your business. But actually, if you do it for the right strategic reasons, it's great. When you write a post, always do this because this helps you to sell. Always have a heading on your post, whether it's LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, always have a heading and use Post Scheduler Analyzer to check your heading out. Give great value in your post. Don't be scared to give stuff away for free. People will buy. I have lots of people saying to me, you give so much away for free. And some people say, I think you give too much away for free. And I'm thinking, we're just on the tip of the iceberg here. I've got a ton of knowledge and experience that I can share. It is the tip of the iceberg. Make sure your post ends with a question because that helps people to create that comment that you're after. As I said, don't say DM or sign up to my program. Instead, offer them something. So for example, if your post is talking about the 5 key points for SEO, then as part of that post, tell them that if they would like to know the other 5 key points or 5 essentials to SEO, download your lead magnet and your link is in the comments. And that way you get their email address. You can then start to create a relationship with them because you can go back and find out if those comments were helpful and what did they think. And actually you're giving them a bit more value. So, and it's much better. The client takes one step towards you, not one step away from you because they think you're going to sell to them. And then just remember that things do change. When I started out, as I said, all you needed was 10 minutes on each platform. I spend 2 to 3 hours on LinkedIn every day. Yeah, I know it's a lot, but things do change and you need to stay on top of those changes and so that you can make them work for you and your business. And maybe what worked 6 months ago isn't working anymore. I used to tell my clients, don't use hashtags on LinkedIn because it just doesn't mean anything. But I did say at some point it will tip over. And of course, the tip has now happened. So many people have put in the hashtags. Now it's working properly with the hashtags. So now I would advise, and I do advise my clients, to use the hashtags. So conversations that convert. Okay, so this is huge, this area. So what I wanted to do was just to give you a little slug, a little insight of it. So conversations that convert. We need to listen more than we talk. And what I recommend to all of my clients is that if you have, for example, a 60-minute meeting, you should only be speaking for 15 minutes or 20 minutes max. The client should be doing the majority of the talking. And the more you allow the client to talk, the more the client sells it to themselves. It is amazing when you see it in action. You just sort of like, you're listening to the client, you're nodding, you know, you're making all the right cues, you're asking little questions for them to go a bit deeper, but they can tell that you're interested and engaged, and you just see them sell your service, your offer to them. It is amazing. Ask smart questions that will make your client think. You know, there's that great saying from Maya Angelou, is that people will always remember how you made them feel, but people will also remember how you made them think about an issue. Because if you make them think and as a result, they change something, that's going to stay with them. Now, I wanted to share some questions that I believe that you can use in, well, I use them in my industry. I share them with some of my VIP clients. And I'm just going to share a selection of these that you can use, but I believe you can use them in any environment. You might say that question wouldn't work for me. Now, these questions that I'm sharing with you have come from Michael Bungay Stainer. So he's got a book out that you can have a look at these. But a really great question. So I use these questions as a base for having a conversation, and then I have other questions that I build on top of it. So what's on your mind? It's a great kickstarter question. It opens up the conversation in a friendly, non-aggressive way. What's on your mind? And when the client starts to tell you what's on their mind, because you want them to talk about what's going on for them, you want to say, and what else? Because it enables the conversation to be opened up further. And when you hear them saying that, when you hear them telling you the what else, then you go back in and check with them and you say, so what's the real challenge here for you? Now, what this does is it slows everything down so that you can really solve the problem. Because often when a client comes to us and they tell us what the problem is, the first problem they tell us is never the real problem. It's when they've been speaking a bit, and that's why you've got to get your client to speak, that the real problem will come out. And this is sort of like a 3-stage thing that you can do, and you can actually apply it to an awful lot of questions. So stage 1 is like, what's the challenge? So they tell you what it is. And you say, well, what's the real challenge here? And they start to go a bit deeper. Then what's the real challenge here for you? So you can take this question in 3 stages, but each time what's happening is your client is going down a layer, and you're really getting those great insights. And as I said, often the first problem the client will present is not always the real challenge. So you have to dig deeper. And as I said, you can use that 3-stage approach for lots of different things. So the first question we had was, what's on your mind? That's the first stage. What's on your mind now? What's on your mind now for you? It just keeps drilling it home more for the client, and they will open up. What do you want? This is all around untangling the wants. I'd like to have, and the needs I must have. So you've got to really hone in on that. What do you want? Because you really want to find out what their needs. The needs are what they're going to buy. Oh, I've done that twice. Okay, did I put that as 4? What do you want? Okay, sorry about that. Number 6. What are your first thoughts on that? start your conversation with that. So when they tell you what they really want, ask them, what are your first thoughts on that? Get them to start talking about that as part of your conversation. This is a really great question. And this is what you want to actually say to them. This is when they tell you that, you say, this is a really great question. I've got some thoughts on that. But before I share those thoughts with you, what are your thoughts on it? Because you want them to start thinking about it. You want them to drill down, you know, and then you would ask, what else could you do? Is there anything else you could do? You want to keep drilling down, keep drilling down. And often what happens when you're in, like in that coaching situation or consulting, is you want to have questions that are very clear, very simple, and it means that it keeps your client talking and thinking and opening up. Because when you do that, they are going to buy from you. Now, you might say, well, look, you know, I'm just selling a £20 product here. You know, I don't think I'll need to do all of that. And you probably might not need to do all of that. But hopefully you can take some of these questions, you know, and it can help you to drill down a bit deeper. And what you might find is that for you, this conversation is much quicker than for somebody else. And if you are saying yes to this, what are you saying no to? This helps the client to confirm their commitment to the situation. So, for example, if somebody says, I want to lose weight, right, which is something I say a lot, what you have to say is, well, if you're saying yes, Carole, to losing weight, what are you going to be saying no to? I'm going to be saying no to staying in bed an extra hour. I'm going to be saying no to that chocky bar that I really want to eat at 10 o'clock at night. That's how you help your clients. So hopefully those questions there are going to help you understand better what you need to do when you're having a conversation to convert. When you have a really good conversation with your client where they are doing the majority of the speaking and you are just asking them some very poignant questions that's going to help them to think, they are going to buy from you. The next piece is then you're going to take them on for that actual sales conversation itself. So that brings me to the end of the presentation. I don't know what the time is actually. I'm just having a quick look. Okay, I've gone over a little bit. Very, very quickly, if anybody, I've called it if you want to work with me further. I've got a pricing mastermind session, which is free. It's taking place on Wednesday, the 26th of May at 1 p.m. We're going to be sharing some case studies. We're going to be doing some live coaching. We're going to be answering your Q&A sessions. I'm doing that with one of my business partners. I've put the link in the comments, so it would be wonderful to see some of you there. Pricing is a really important thing to get right. Obviously, if you work for an MLM, you've already got your pricing sorted out. But if you don't and you think this would be helpful, we would love to see you there. So that brings us to the end of our session. Sorry, I overran a bit. I would take any questions now. So I'm going to stop sharing. And if anybody's got any questions.
Thank you so much, Carole. That was brilliant.
Oh, God, yeah, there was a couple of mistakes in it. Sorry about that, everyone.